Thank you everyone for coming. That's it.
What's the significance of this bit here? Was that, did you want us to read that afterwards or before? Or?
It was, it's kind of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll tell you a little bit of how I came up with like the ideas. And I keep a notebook of like, I just write one-line things. When you have those thoughts that you're like, oh, this is so profound and no one's ever going to hear it, I write it down. And they seem to follow the same basis about space and my life, which is in space and online and both, and relationships and people. And I had this big book of it and I felt that I needed to like order it and work it out. So I photocopied it all, cut it all up and stuck it all down in the right order. And then that, and then I had to add, like, it became a big monologue and I retyped it up and then the images go with that. So yeah, it's like me getting the thoughts out that I think need to be heard, but they don't quite, maybe other people don't feel they need to be heard.
So there's no chronology, they're just thoughts that you've had and then they could have come weeks before each other. It's like a collage.
I've reorganised them.
Then you've reorganised, and then the black, the heavy black is where you've then tried to turn it into one continuous sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because as I started to put them down, I write in blocks, so I would have like a book of 7 different headings or 8 different headings, and whenever I think of a thought, I will put it into a category of the heading. And so the blocks got cut up, and then as I started to lay them out, they change meaning when you overlay them, or before or after. It's like when you start to put a narrative to it, then it completely changes the meaning of each little idea. And that, and it started to become like so long that people weren't going to read it, so I thought I'd have to make people come and listen to me say it instead.
So how much of this featured in the presentation?
All of it. It's longer than this.
So this in effect is what we've just heard, is this as a monologue?
That is this, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's just that I had to, I wasn't going to stand there and do the scroll because I wouldn't be able to hold the microphone, and so it's a practicality issue.
That seemed a lot more coherent when you read it, compared, this feels like more like automatic writing, but it seemed to make a lot of sense. And in terms of your assessment, are you going to present this as well as do the performance again? Is that the plan?
It just keeps on like evolving. I've got a book of all the writing, and then I've got this, and then I've got the video of the performance now, and I've created an online video of the scrolling, so you can read it as it goes round. So it's like a forever evolving. It's like different ways, because a lot of it is about the different ways of getting information across, like galleries, online, Facebook, searching for things. And so it's like me doing all the different ways of trying to get these ideas across about those subjects, about getting ideas across.
And in terms of the images that you chose to present, well, it's quite interesting to see whether did you have any kind of control? Were you looking at it so you could see it on your screen? And so there's certain images that you felt were connecting to the text, and then you'd move through that way.
And a lot of them were repeated. Because the ideas have been cut up, and then you go backwards and forwards. They repeat. You hear me talk about something at the beginning, and I talk about it at the end, and it's the narrative sliced together. Yeah, a loop. And the images were more to do with the setting, because each time I have like redesigned the information, it's in a different setting. So this is like a different setting, and I thought if I was standing here and talking, then I should have some kind of visual thing to people to look at, and then that become a bit of a satire thing of the whole idea of giving presentations.
Well, it feels like a Heath Robinson attempt at kind of doing a PowerPoint. And the lectern then starts. So where did you get the lectern from?
It's been there for ages.
Did you make it?
No, it's just hanging around. I just pieced all the things together. Yeah, the images come from, every time I like reimagine the information, it adds something to it. So I've got the script now, and then now I've got the presentation, and it evolves.
I've got a silly question.
Yeah.
Do you see it relating to your things on wheels, which means in actual space?
Yes,
I just wondered if you...
What, my tables?
Yeah,
no, I do. I do see that it links up with my... Because the sculptures seem to... When I'm making them, it's always about building in space and...
In actual space?
Yeah, in actual space rather than... And that's my maybe why, even though I'm really bad at building things, I have this feeling that I need to make and construct
things that move,
and have an ability and then maybe a use or a non-use, or so like maybe it's my get off the online protest of me making these little tables.
Yeah, it related to the workshop a little bit, or the Louise.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah, I had planned this before, and it was really. I delayed this, and then after I'd been to that, it like really gave me the push to think, no, I can, like, I don't need a big space. I can just have like 6 or like 10 people here and just do it, and that's fine. Because that was a really good experience to see them do it, even though it's like a different subject. It was like quite an interesting way to see it. You know, performance doesn't have to be a